Hey folks, and welcome to Operator Guides number 19. Today, we'll discuss an operator that I truly have never played before. Seriously, gathering clips for this video was my first time playing this guy, and I really enjoyed it. His name is Bandit, and he sells drugs. Canonically. And honestly, he may as well do it IRL, because as I was playing him, I fell high. It was like I was disconnected from the rest of the game, from the rest of the world. Honestly, as I started unlocking operators, the first roamer I unlocked was Caveira. Seriously, I spent 10k renown on Caveira before I spent 1k on Bandit. I don't even use her either. I know I've said this before, but if you play him right, Bandit is the most fun operator you will ever play. Well, other than Chongi, of course. So, what makes him so fun? Well, his loadout certainly plays a part. He has two primaries, an SMG with excellent fire rate and really manageable recoil. I'm not kidding when I say this thing is a headshot machine. Or a shotgun with really low spread but high damage. FYI, it's the same one Jaeger has. His secondary is a pistol, not much to say there. Then he has either barbed wire or a nitro cell. Either is a really strong choice here. I know normally I don't like the barbed wire, but thanks to his gadget, it is super useful. Speaking of his gadget, Bandit is clearly an electrical genius. He grabbed a car battery, or rather 4, and he took the top off of them and stuck the cables to pretty much anything metal. The battery, CED, will electrify 1 unit of metal. What is that? I know, that's weird, but basically it means it can electrify 1 item. Be it 1 reinforced wall, 1 barbed wire, 1 portable shield, it doesn't matter. Each battery only works on 1 thing. Don't play Bandit for his gadget though. Cade, another defender, can electrify so many more units of metal than Bandit can. So, since you can only have 4, and you're also a roamer, what playstyles can I make of this legend of an operator? Yes, folks, it has returned. The crappy camper is normally for attackers, but it works here too. Before we get into his actual roamer abilities, I figured I would point out other options he has. Basically, he has no magnifying scope and no really long range weapons, so he shouldn't be camping anything. And yet, if you find a common entryway, I know that requires a bit of map knowledge, which many of you may not have, and hide behind cover, you can shut down that entryway for the attackers and force them to find somewhere else, if you're careful. The easiest way to find these common entryways without much map knowledge is by using the cameras. Normally the attackers will destroy any cameras they see, but if you use them almost immediately, you can definitely ping where the attackers will approach from and guess from there. It's certainly safer than just waiting for the initial explosion to ring throughout the map. When you find your spot, you want to do 2 things. First, if there's no cover in the room where they will breach, then you need to find a different room. Perhaps one that can give you shots on the doorway they'll be forced to leave through. That way, you'll still have created a choke point where the attackers are at a disadvantage. Be careful of shield operators and also of healing operators, because they will attempt to brute force their way through you. Often, it will work. Which brings me to the other thing you must do before this initial breach. Place your barbed wire down. If you're in the separate room, then place it in the doorway to the breaching room. If you're inside the breaching room, then place it in front of the door the attackers will breach through, or in a spot that will cause the most annoyance for them. Then, place a battery inside the barbed wire, electrifying it. This will do several important things. While it is easily destroyed, this electricity will damage any attacker who walks through it. Not enough to kill them or even drop them to half health, but enough to scare them and make them mess up. It will also destroy any drones that come near it, instantly, denying the attackers any knowledge of what's ahead of them. The way your screen shakes and gets blurry when you're being shocked is terrifying, and will open them to being shot, preferably by you. If you take out one of them inside the barbed wire, then this will act like a psychological boogeyman for the attackers. They won't want to risk any more of their lives by charging through the door, and they shouldn't know where you are exactly, so the smarter choice is to pick a different spot to enter. You can't keep them out forever, but you've just dropped their numbers from 5 to 4, a potentially game-winning kill for you. This is generally the mentality that window campers have, that if I get an early kill, I might have won my team the round. I hate window campers. At least covering entryways means the attackers had a fair chance to just run away instead of facing the wrath of Bandit. Here is where you'll have the most fun and the most success playing Bandit. Here is what he was literally made to do. There are a few things you need to understand before you attempt something like this. The first is that, even when running, Bandit is virtually silent. He's not actually silent like Cav can be, but he is so close that it doesn't really matter. Secondly, you need to suppress both of his guns, meaning attach a suppressor to both of them. Because of a recent update, suppressed guns no longer deal decreased damage, they just have more recoil. That means you can still take out whoever you want as long as you control your recoil. Suppressed shots also make it much harder to pinpoint where they're coming from, giving you that extra second to drop the attacker you're shooting at. So once you've done that, here's what you need to do next. First, before leaving the objective room, you need to place electrified barbed wire at 2 main entrances. This will slow down attackers, yes, but the main purpose is to stop drones from finding the room. These barbed wire things can't be jumped over and instantly destroy drones, but only if electrified. Once you've placed those, you need to run to a far corner of the map, or a place where you can be sure you won't be snuck up on. The idea is to be safe when you figure out exactly where the attackers are breaching from. Once you figure that out, give it a solid 10 to 15 seconds of listening just to make sure no attackers see you come out of your hiding spot. Then sprint as fast and as carefully as you can to where the attackers are. Kill any you see. What makes this possible is Bandit's speed. He's a 3-speed, meaning he's one of the fastest operators in the game. What this does is it makes his maneuverability much higher than that of other operators. He can get a kill, sprint away and hide, and then run back in for another from a different spot. Understanding that the ability to move quickly, which is so often passed off as a stupid idea in-game, is actually invaluable. Since you can outrun pretty much any aggressor, it makes you practically invincible if you play it right, and have decent reflexes.
Remaining. Seconds. Protect the Op 4 is securing the biohazard container. 1 friendly operator remaining. 5 seconds to go. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Sometimes you can even have a really cool duel moment with a 1v1 situation.
Isn't that wrong? Right.
Anyway, a final note. Make sure to place your batteries before you run off, else they aren't helping anyone at all. It's just an extra 10 seconds you won't need to use for running, so just place them first. Also, I don't use the shotgun. Bandit can peek corners so fast that sightlines aren't really a problem, and using the shotgun will certainly give away where you are much faster. Anyway, folks, that's all I've got for you today. Here are a few games I'm very proud of that I think showcase how awesome Bandit really is. Thanks for watching, and have an excellent day.
Friendly is victorious. Hostiles Changing mags. Someone is tracking you down.